Hi, I'm Andrew,
And I'm Luther.
and we're from the Man Cave, and here we're going to answer a question. This is a big one. What does it mean to be a man?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm still figuring this one out every now and then, right? I think when I was younger, I was really confused about what it meant to be a man. I didn't really have many healthy male role models growing up, and the ones that I did see were either from like television or when I think about it, it was like my dad. My dad was actually present but absent. He was like around physically but emotionally not there. And so what I took from that is to be a little bit like stoic and not show my emotions and everything, right? And I think it was also challenging because my parents are both refugees from Vietnam and Cambodia, left a war. Like my dad's story is crazy. Like refugee camps for like 5 years before coming to Australia and then raising a family in a foreign country. And I think I found it confusing both on how to be a man and also how to be myself in a different place. You know, I never quite felt Australian and never quite felt fully Vietnamese. And so it was both confusing to be a man and a person, like growing up, right? And I feel like I'm still on this journey now, but I have a much clearer picture about what it means to be a man for me. And for me, that's like loving, compassionate, understanding, and recently also like embracing my ancestry and leaning into my culture more as well. Because being a first generation here in Australia, I have a very similar to experience to other Vietnamese people. And so it's nice to bring that to light and present something different. You know?
Wow. Yeah, definitely. I think it's really interesting that you touch on culture because I feel like there's two definitions of a man in my life, right? I feel like there's a man and yeah, I have all these male privileges, but I'm also a black man. And I think those two things are very different for me. What it means to be a man and what it means to be a black man. I think for me, being a black man means that I have to, there's so much pressure because it's like my actions today will be how other black men are judged. You know what I mean? It's such a difficult thing to navigate. You know what I mean? Because like I know women that have to cross the road to you know, like when they want to feel comfortable, like because they're scared at nighttime, right? But it's like for me, I have to cross the road so I don't make other people feel comfortable as a black man. It doesn't matter who I'm around. Like I know for me, I walk around my own neighborhood sometimes and I get looked at in a certain light just because of the color of my skin, right? Yeah, I think for me, it's like there's the man that I want to be, and then there's the man that I am, and there's the man that I kind of have to be, because you know I don't have the luxury of just being able to express myself all the time and being able to be loud and obnoxious in a McDonald's at fucking some ridiculous time of night. You know what I mean? I don't get that opportunity sometimes because of the fact that it's like I have to be really conscious about the way that I act in public. And yeah, I think for me, I think like my definition of an actual man as opposed to a boy is someone who can provide but can also look after themselves and express themselves and talk about when they're not doing great. You know what I mean? To have these difficult conversations. I think me as a black man, it's like I think there's so much more that I have to think about every day, from what I wear to the way that I act and like, you know, what I wear when I go to the shops, you know what I mean? It's and like the fact that like, you know, there's certain things I can't do in a supermarket that other people can just do so carelessly, like even getting receipts and stuff, you know what I mean? But
I actually don't know what you mean when you say like get receipts. What do you mean when you say that?
So for me, when I walk into a store sometimes it's very easy. Like people think I'm stealing, right?
Right.
So if I don't walk out of a store with a receipt, sometimes they'll be like, oh, well, where the fuck do you get that? You know what I mean? Like, why are you just walking out of my store with this stuff?
Right.
In like little convenience stores, people follow me around this. Like the people in the shop, like they follow me around the store and yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like
that's wild, dude.
Yeah, like actually talking about it out loud. You know what I mean? Because I think for me, I've just normalized that. It's just like that. It is what it is. Being a black man, I have to be a lot more purposeful. I have to be very considerate of things at all times, which is difficult because at the end of the day, I'm 22. I want to be loud and obnoxious, but it's just being mindful. You know what I mean? And you know, when people are judging me, it's not falling into that category, because I think it'd be so easy to reciprocate the energy that I'm receiving with that same energy. You know what I mean? But I think I just have to be very, very mindful with how I respond to things and with how I carry myself. Yeah, it'd be so easy to curl into that bowl of trauma and reciprocate this energy of hate, you know what I mean? Because it's so easy, you know what I mean? Just to be like, oh, you called me this, or you're looking at me like this, I'm gonna actually confront you about this now. But at the end of the day, that's not me. You know what I mean? That's not me. That's me acting out of a place of anger, out of a place of hatred. Because again, if I react like that, I'm just enforcing a stereotype. I'm enforcing this person's beliefs.
For sure.
So I think for me, being a man is like actually understanding everyone's situation as well, because the reality is like, yeah, all this terrible stuff happens to black people and to myself and to just people of color, period. But it's like people that are giving out that energy, they're doing that for a specific reason. You know what I mean? Like there are circumstances in people's lives which lead them to be racist, which lead them to be hateful. And I'm not saying that's right, but it's about understanding that, because if I don't understand that, I'm just like blindly following, you know what I mean? I'm blindly keeping this cycle of hatred going. And I think that that's really difficult for a lot of people of color. But I can only speak on my own experience, but I've found that difficult.
But yeah, that's us answering this question, which is I feel like there's so much more to it. But yeah, if you relate to us, leave a comment in the comment section below and share what you feel.
Or even if you don't relate to us, just let us know. Let us know your experience of what it means to be a man. Whether person of color or not.
Love that. Thanks.
Peace.